Hey everyone, I've been reading your comments on our last video about creating a scrolling ticker for the PR200 screen using ALP, and it looks like you really enjoyed it. So today, we're going to take it a step further and talk about how to create a password-protected setpoint input directly on the PR200 screen. Let's start by seeing how it works in practice. On the current screen, there's a password field. It becomes active when I press the select button. Right now, the setpoint is display only, so no matter how many times I press select, I can't edit it. To unlock it, I need to enter the password I defined in ALP. In this case, it's 3 threes. Once I confirm the password, pressing the select button puts me into setpoint editing mode. Let's say I set the value to 5. After 15 seconds, the password resets automatically and editing becomes locked again. As you can see, once the timer runs out, pressing select no longer does anything. I'm locked out until I re-enter the password. If the password is entered incorrectly, nothing happens. The screen stays in view-only mode. So, how is this all set up? Let's walk through it. On the first row of the screen, I placed an input-output box for integer and real data and linked it to a variable called password, which is an integer type. On the second row, there are controls for viewing and editing the setpoint. It might look like there's only one element there, but there are actually two. The first one is an input-output box tied to a variable called setpoint, and it's read-only. You can view the setpoint but not change it. The second element is nearly identical, but this one is editable and allows you to enter a new setpoint. In the properties of each element, I gave them indexed names. The one on the second row has the number 2. The editable one on the third row has the number 3. That means I created them in that order. If both are placed in the same location on the screen, the one with the higher number appears on top and hides the one below it. So when editing isn't allowed, I move the editable version off screen by binding its x-coordinate to a variable. That way, the user can only see the read-only version. When editing is allowed, I move the editable element back into view. Since it was created later, it appears on top, allowing the user to interact with it. In the ALP program, I use a comparison block to check if the entered password matches my predefined value, again, 3 threes. If the password is incorrect or not entered, the coordinate variable is set to 16, which moves the editable input-output box off screen. If the password is correct, the coordinate variable is set to 0, bringing the editable element into view and snapping it to the left edge of the screen. At the same time, I start a timer T-on block. Once the 15-second countdown finishes, the timer output activates, and the password variable is reset to 0 using a selector block. That sets the coordinate back to 16 and pushes the editable element off screen, locking editing once again. This program is pretty simple, but you can build on it in many ways. For example, you could add a message to indicate a wrong password. You could allow users to adjust the timer duration to give more time for editing. Or you could even reset incorrect passwords automatically after a few seconds, not just the correct ones. The possibilities are wide open. You can do nearly anything your imagination allows. One important note about ALP: the topmost element takes priority. That means if you add an editable input-output box first and then cover it with a read-only version, the editable one will be inaccessible. You'll need to move or hide the top element to enable editing. So, if you want to make a setpoint editable, make sure the editable element is the one on top. By the way, the topics for our next 2 videos came directly from your comments, so if you have ideas, don't hold back. Leave them in the comments under our videos on YouTube or our site. That's all for now. See you next time.